Welcome to J&J Sports Talk. Me and brother Jay just finished watching the NCAA March Madness Selection Show. Oh boy, we got a dandy of a show today. Cannot wait for y'all to join us on this beautiful journey that is March Madness.
That in one shining moment you reached deep inside. One shining moment you knew.
Thanks for joining us today on the Little Brother Podcast, aka J&J Sports Talk. With me is my brother in crime, Jacob Money.
What is up, you guys? I'm so pumped. March Madness is here.
Yes.
I cannot wait.
Best time of the year. So I guess let's get right into it, I guess. I guess how today's going to go is a little breakdown of each of the regions, our favorite, our sleeper, best matchup to watch for in the region, and then finally we're going to go with our final four picks, and then lastly, our champion. So Jay, take me right to the East bracket. Let's see what we got.
Number one overall seed, Duke. I don't think there's a real surprise there. Other interesting matchups, 5-12, Mississippi State versus Liberty. Jay, you think that could be
I love Liberty. Darius McGee, Caleb Holmesley, Scotty James, shout out Blake Preston, Shaw Christian alum. I think the 12-5 nowadays is not a lock, but if you look at the numbers in years before, the 12 usually has a good advantage over the 5. So I like I like Liberty over Mississippi State.
Okay, and then also right down below that, Virginia Tech, yes, versus St. Louis.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech, I don't see them having any problem there. I think Virginia Tech, a dark horse to get out of this bracket.
Yeah, especially with Justin Robinson back. Pair that with Blackshear and Outlaw. That's a scary team. I don't want to see, in the Sweet 16 if I'm Duke.
Absolutely. Moving down, Maryland is the 6th seed. LSU versus Yale.
Yeah.
Yale, very athletic team. Sometimes you think Ivy League, you think kind of boring basketball,
Mm-hmm.
You think the scholars.
Shout out Trey Phillips, Shaw Christian alum. He starts on the Yale team. His second appearance in the NCAA tournament. LSU has some question marks with Will Wade and was it Smart?
Javonte Smart is back for the tournament.
He's back. Okay, good. But I think without Will Wade, without your leader, I think that's a problem. So I think they're going to be Yale, but I think Louisville or Minnesota could give them a little run.
Yeah, I think we saw it was very evident. LSU during the SEC tournament when they lost Will Wade, it obviously took
I'm so sorry. Sorry to interrupt you, but LSU
Fine.
would not play Louisville. I'm sorry, I got that wrong. They played.
Oh, good there, Jay.
I like Belmont actually beating Maryland, and then Belmont beating LSU.
Okay. Louisville playing Minnesota as a 7-10 matchup. Minnesota, good team, but I like Louisville. I like they're a well-rounded team. Jordan Noor and Kristen Cunningham, both great players. I like Louisville coming out.
Yeah, this is a Richard Pitino. If Rick Pitino was still coaching, RIP, this would be kind of sweet to see him versus Sun. I like Chris Mack in the Cards to get it done.
Okay, and then rounding out the South Division, the South region, we got Michigan State playing Bradley as 15 seed.
Yeah.
Michigan State as a 2 seed. They were potentially to be a 1. Some bracketologists were predicting, but I think rightfully a 2 seed.
Yeah. So basically, I think my favorite to win this region is Duke, but I would not be surprised if Virginia Tech won it. I don't think they're going to win it, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I could see Duke having some close games, but I think until you play a real powerhouse team that has athletes that can compete.
Yeah.
Not saying Virginia Tech doesn't have the athletes, but I think Duke some close games potentially, but I think they walk out of this bracket and go to the Final Four.
Duke in the tournament is no guarantee. Let's not forget. So I guess moving on to the
2012.
South, we got Virginia the 1. They got Gardner Webb. Should be no promises with Virginia, but I don't think Gardner Webb should be a problem. Jay, when you look at this bracket, what really stands out to you?
So the 5-12 matchup in this, Wisconsin versus Oregon. Oregon coming off a fantastic Pac-12 tournament.
Yep. Modern day survive and advance.
Versus Wisconsin, who have been underperforming as of late.
Yeah. As you guys, if you guys listen, we don't really get a lot of views apparently, but if you guys listen, I love Ethan Happ. He played terrible in the Big Ten tournament, so hopefully he gets it back. I want to see him against maybe Virginia in the Sweet 16. I think that's kind of cool.
Going down, Kansas State versus UC Irvine. UC Irvine, I would say, is a sleeper to beat Kansas State. Kansas State without one of their stars, Dean Wade, again for the second tournament in a row. I think that really hurts their chances. UC Irvine's got a good ball club. I can see them advancing.
Yeah. You see the defending national champion Villanova at a 6 against St. Mary's, who did beat Gonzaga. I like the Wildcats in this one. You know, a lot of experience coming back, but St. Mary's is a good ball club. That'll be a game to watch for sure.
At the end of the day, having Jay Wright in the tournament.
Yeah, I love Jay Wright. No homo, a good-looking dude.
Yeah, he's a well put together man.
Thank you,
Absolutely. Yep. Rounding out, we got Purdue as a 3 seed. I think very overseeded. I thought there could have been a 5 seed. Went out very early in the Big Ten tournament. Have a couple shooters, but Carson Edwards carries that squad. Do not have the bigs like
the light-skinned killer.
Yeah. Going down, we got Cincinnati against Iowa as a 7-10 matchup. Cincinnati going to be playing in Columbus. It's a backyard game. Cincinnati scrappy ball club. I think they advance easy on that one.
Yeah, and then Tennessee Colgate. I think Tennessee is gonna. I don't think Colgate obviously doesn't have the athletes, but so who's your favorite to win the division or the region? Sorry.
I think I'm gonna go chalk on this one. I think the Elite Eight matchup is going to be Virginia-Tennessee on this because Virginia plays fantastic defense, which your shooting might be bad in the tournament, but your defense will stay with you.
Defense travels. My favorite to win, it's either Virginia or Tennessee. I give the slight edge to Tennessee. I don't know if I can trust Virginia in the tournament after what happened last year.
I'll back Tennessee up on that also. I also think Tennessee makes it to the Final
Four. And then who's your sleeper?
Sleeper? Certainly not Purdue. I could see none of the lower seeds impress me, honestly. I could see potentially either Oregon or Cincinnati making some noise. Cincinnati would play Tennessee in the second round, but Cincinnati is a great ball club. Other than that, all the good teams that I would say maybe if they were seeded a little bit differently could make it far, but I would say my only team that I could see maybe busting a little bit of a run to the Sweet 16 would be potentially Oregon.
I like Villanova. Streaky ball club, but defending national champs. I think they could easily get to the Sweet 16 if the Lord allows.
And experience is killer in the tournament.
Experience is it's a hell of a drug.
Love that, Jay.
So moving on to the Midwest. Jay, this is going to be a hard one for you. I know how passionate you are as a fan. That's really.
Do you mind if I take this?
Jay, go
bracket? Ahead. Number 1 seed North Carolina in the Midwest bracket. North Carolina, I believe, deserving of a 1 seed. Absolutely. If you watch them at all, take the eye test. They are clearly a top 4 team in the country, I believe. And when they take good shots, I think they're a team that could cut down the nets at the end of in April.
Jay, I love that analysis. Utah State is going to get maybe the work by Washington. I love Auburn. Big SEC win today. Play New Mexico State. Should be, I think.
New Mexico State's a good team, but Auburn could lose to New Mexico State, or I believe they could potentially take out North Carolina if they shoot the way a couple games this year. Today against Tennessee shot very well, and earlier in the season against my Wildcats at Auburn, Bryce Brown and Jared Harper are lethal guards.
That's a scary guard combo. Kansas at 4, a little down year, but hey, anything can happen in the tournament. I wouldn't doubt Bill Self.
Absolutely.
And shout out Devon Dotson, scored on him. McDonald's All-American. He couldn't guard me. Then, look at Jay. When we were talking a little earlier in the week, you sent a screenshot in our group message. Iowa State at 8, and you were, I wouldn't say scared, but you were a little
apprehensive.
Yes, to see Iowa State at the 8th seed when the earlier the week.
Yes.
Now they're a 6. Shiok, I believe that's the name.
Yes,
yes, great player.
They rightfully got seeded to 6 seed. 8 seed would have been far too low for them. Iowa State, great defensive team. They've got good length. Haven't been playing their greatest as of late, but if you watched any Big 12 basketball, I don't blame you if you didn't. It was horrible this year. Iowa State, good ball club. Definitely have the tools put together to make a run. 3 seed Houston, I believe that in all the projected brackets were a 3, and I honestly thought they were going to be a 4.
Yeah. My opinion, Houston's a very overrated ball club. I haven't watched them. I think the American Athletic Conference is not where these other leagues are. So I think it kind of hurts them. Their record's very inflated.
Close games with teams like Cincinnati, I don't believe that I guess justifies a 3 seed for Houston when Cincinnati competes with you.
Yeah, I'm picking up your vibe. Wofford Seton Hall. Shout out 864. I almost committed to Wofford. If I applied, I would have committed if I didn't get into Clemson. Shout out, quick flex. That's where I'm going. But I love the Wofford Terriers. Mike Young brings a very senior-heavy group. Fletcher McGee. We got Nathan Hoover, Storm Murphy, Cam Jackson. Do not be surprised if Wofford beats Seton Hall. But sadly, they'll probably play Kentucky. Jay, I want you to explain to me why Kentucky got robbed.
Okay, so yes, Kentucky, the 2 seed, rounding out the Midwest Division, playing Abilene Christian in the first round. And if you look at this bracket, especially Kentucky's road, Wofford, a good team, a shooting team, and shooting teams like we saw last year, UMBC, if you can get hot, you can beat anyone in the tournament with the 3-ball. And then if we didn't play Wofford, we would play Seton Hall, who beat us earlier this year. Very tough second round matchup. And then looking at Iowa State as a very athletic team, I believe they're more of a threat than Houston. This bracket, top to bottom, very good. You've got North Carolina, clearly a team that could cut down the nets in March. Washington, even, great ball club. Point guard for them actually just recently passed Gary Payton in the all-time Pac-12 steals record. And then Auburn, who gave Kentucky a very tough run early in the year at Auburn.
Until they played at Kentucky.
And today absolutely obliterated Tennessee, granted on a bad day. Kansas, who, as much as I would like to say they're not good, they're still a good team.
And they're a blue blood.
Absolutely.
I would definitely call this region the blue blood region. You got 3 blue bloods.
And you know what? No surprise for me, honestly. I knew as soon as North Carolina was in this division or in this region that Kentucky was going to be put in it. Kentucky consistently, every year, gets put in a very hard bracket.
It's all political.
With teams that look, the March Madness show actually explained that Gonzaga should have been placed by rankings, should have been placed in this division. I think that just goes to show the committee wanted to see a North Carolina-Kentucky rematch in the Elite Eight.
I mean, I don't blame them. I would love to see that game in the Elite Eight. It'd be beautiful. My take, I think Kentucky, or my favorite actually, is UNC or Kentucky. I'll have to flip a coin or something. But my sleeper, I love Auburn. Bryce Brown, or like Jay said, Brown and Harper, 2 of the better guards in the SEC, and they can shoot the ball. Golly, like an absolute maniac. But I like Wofford actually too. If there is an upset, I like Wofford to make the Sweet 16 and beat your Kentucky Wildcats. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I'm like Thanos, not Thanos, Bane. I'm Chaos. I love Chaos.
Okay, that's Joker actually, but we'll
it is. Sorry,
the committee will let it slide.
Sorry, Jay. I'm rookie on my Batman.
All good, Jay. All good. For me, coming out of this bracket, I like North Carolina coming out of this bracket. I think they're playing some really good ball right now. Very good.
Unbiased opinion as well.
Yeah, you won't find that on other podcasts.
Yep.
Looking at who they're going to play, I believe they'll cruise to the Sweet 16, and I don't think Auburn's a deep enough team, and I don't think Auburn will have to have a heck of a shooting game to even come close to North Carolina, because North Carolina can shoot the lights out on any given day. I like North Carolina to come out of this bracket, unfortunately. Kentucky very well could.
I mean, they match up well.
And it's hard to beat a team twice. So
yeah. Especially they beat them on so early in their season. Kobe White and UNC's, they've obviously gotten better.
Absolutely.
So we'll move on to the last and final region, the West. The Gonzaga, they're number 1 in that region. This is probably the weakest region, I'd say. But there's some great matchups. Jay, take me through some matchups you can't wait to see on Thursday.
If I'm Gonzaga right now, I'm pooping my pants because you have to play Syracuse potentially in the second round.
Yeah.
And Syracuse, if you watch any of the ACC this year, competed with Duke, one of the best teams in the nation, if not the best team, and almost beat them with Zion.
Yeah. And they beat them in Cameron.
Absolutely, and they're getting Tyus Battle back.
Yeah.
I think Syracuse has real potential to beat Gonzaga in that second round, and the 5-12 matchup. Yeah, this could be one of the best.
This is a future NBA this is 2 future NBA guards basically going at it.
2 of the best guards in the country.
Exciting guards as well.
Marcus Howard versus John Morant and Murray State is the 5-12 matchup. Marquette, great ball club, definitely deeper, have more Division I level talent. But Murray State, Jay, tell me what you like about them.
Well, they have John Morant.
Absolutely.
Sumter's finest.
Simply put.
I mean, I'll be real. All I know is John Morant, but I think it's all you have to know when John Morant's dunking on dudes, jumping from the freaking free throw line, putting heads or $100 on people's heads, as the kids say at the park nowadays.
And guards carry tournaments. We know this.
Yes, it's all about the guard play. Oh God, I really like Florida State in this bracket, but that's a little too early. But I like Florida to beat Nevada. I really do.
Okay. Yeah, Florida State is a 4 seed. If I'm Gonzaga, once again, Gonzaga, I think deservingly got the toughest bracket as in terms of them being a 1 seed.
Well, they should. Because
their road to the Sweet 16 or to the Elite Eight, not easy at all.
Yeah, not easy at all.
You have potentially look at who they potentially play: Syracuse, Marquette, Murray State, or Florida State. Any of those teams could play them on the way to the Elite Eight for them.
Yeah. So I guess I kind of jumped the gun, but I really like Florida State to win this region. Very, very hot take. But they play 12 guys, or they play 10. They're 10 deep. They don't get tired. They got pretty good defense.
They've got 6 jobs. They don't get tired.
Facts, Jay. Terrence Mann, great player. My sleeper would be Florida and or Syracuse. Jay, who's your favorite to win this region?
I think Michigan comes out. No, take that back. I believe I'm going to take Gonzaga, actually.
Okay, so you like the Zags.
I do like the Zags. Rounding out Michigan, I don't believe we mentioned this. Michigan, the 2 seed in this bracket. Michigan, honestly, they're a great defensive team, but you have to put up points because you can't hold your team. At the end of the day, if your defense isn't working for you, you're going to have to put up points, and I don't believe they have the firepower to do it.
I believe we also forgot to mention Texas Tech.
Texas Tech, very good team, extremely athletic, good on both sides of the ball. Jared Culver.
Bucket.
Absolute bucket. That's an NBA talent.
Jay, not quick flex. We also, in early January, me and you said this is the year that Kansas would lose a streak. And I think it was thanks to Texas Tech they did. But I know Kansas State win the regular season Big 12?
Yes.
But Texas Tech beat Kansas. So technically, thanks to Texas Tech,
it was a very tight race in the Big 12 this year.
Also, I like Buffalo at the 6th seed. They got Arizona State St. John, but this West region, if you take out, it's the weakest region in terms of 1 seed, but there's a lot of talent and good teams in this region.
Yeah, I would say it probably has the strongest kind of middle range teams.
I would say like the 7 and 10 matchup is probably one of the better matchups. 7 and 10 you're going to see.
Yes, Nevada and Florida. Nevada led by the Martin twins.
Yep.
And
Jordan Caroline.
As of late, have not been playing well. But Florida is a team that they're very young guards, but they're very athletic and can work on both sides of the ball.
Yep.
I'm very high on Florida.
Yeah, especially after that big win over LSU in the first round of the SEC tournament.
Rightfully could have been playing Tennessee today for the SEC championship if it weren't for that absolutely horrendous call.
Yes. I love that, Jay. Yeah, you're talking about the 3-pointer?
Yes.
Yeah, it was terrible. So I guess kind of rounding out the show, I guess we got to go Final Four picks.
All right.
If it's a real March Madness recap show, we got to talk about Final Four picks.
Talk to me dirty, Jay.
Oh, yes, I will.
All right. Coming out of the East, I like Duke. I don't think there's anything wrong with going chalk there with Duke. I think they're just too highly powered, really at the top. They rely on 2 players mainly, I believe, and supporting players.
Yeah.
But 2 of those players, 2 of the best in the nation. I believe Zion forces their way into the Final Four for them. I don't see them.
Yeah,
losing.
Zion's a great player, but I know you didn't want to get into this shit, but if there is one weakness to Duke, it's R.J. Barrett's shot selection.
Absolutely, and R.J. Barrett is the reason I believe they will not win the national championship.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to win that championship either. Sorry, Owen Cannon.
Looking at the South region, Jay, who do you like coming out of there?
The South? All right, well, I am very high on Virginia just because Kyle Guy, Ty Jerome, DeAndre Hunter, but I don't know if I can trust them. I really like Tennessee, honestly. Williams, shot Providence Day, Jordan Bone, tough. Admiral Schofield, they got good players. This is honestly this is a hard one. I'm gonna go Tennessee.
I'm gonna stick with you on that one. Tennessee, one of the most well-rounded teams in the country. They have very good guard play. Jordan Bone, one of the most underrated guards in the country, can do it on both ends, and is a great distributor as well as a shooter. Their size as well. They're a very physical team.
Until they played Kentucky, got absolutely
in their most recent matchup, Kentucky had a very tough time. Their on-ball defenders are very good. They have good size underneath. Admiral Schofield's a load for it's hard for, let alone a 2 guard to guard him, who is usually he's matched up against.
Yeah.
Sometimes we saw P.J. Washington, who couldn't stop Admiral.
Big body.
He's a 6'5", but can take you to the hole and shoot. Very tough matchup. I like Tennessee coming out of the South.
All right, and coming out of the Midwest, I guess I like Carolina, but would not be surprised if Kentucky wins goes to the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
I like Higgins. I think is a great defender. Hero, my guy. Washington's great. Johnson, love Keldon Johnson, and then Reed Travis. No, I like Hero. Don't give me that look, Jay. I like Hero. I think he's cocky.
Don't talk to me.
Jay, when have I ever said Hero's a bad player?
I don't want to talk about this, Jay.
Jay, please do. When have I ever said Hero's a bad player?
I don't want to talk about it. Here's a great player. And
I never said he was. I never said he was a bad player. I said he was cocky.
Tyler Hero, if you watch him at all, he is not your typical in terms of
Caucasian.
In terms of, I believe, white, especially white Duke players, kind of get this shtick about kind of being arrogant. And Tyler Hero, if you watch, when he plays hard. He plays hard defense, and he doesn't talk to the other team. All he does is go back to his bench and
he's a
celebrate.
great player. But I would not be surprised if Kentucky wins. But I gotta go with the boys in blue, the ugliest blue in the planet, the ugliest color in the world. Roy Williams and the North Carolina Tar Heels will win this region. Book it.
I'm gonna veer off from you a little bit there. What I said earlier about UNC advancing out of this bracket, I take it back. I'm actually gonna.
Are we shocked? No.
What can I say? The more I look at it, the more I think Kansas actually matches up fairly well with UNC. I think there's the potential for, as bad as a Kansas season this has been in terms of Kansas.
They can redeem it.
In terms of Kansas seasons, I think Kansas has real potential to beat North Carolina and open the bracket up for Kentucky. I have Kentucky coming out of the Midwest.
Also, I think Auburn or Kansas could give North Carolina a run for the money. So I like that pick, Jay. That's why you're the best in the business, my guy.
Appreciate that.
Final. Have we done the West? No, we have not done the West. So who do you think is going to win the West? And who's your last Final Four pick?
Coming out of the West, I like Texas Tech. Very, very versatile team. A lot of their players can do lots of things. I simply think Gonzaga's road is going to be too difficult. I believe they play too many hard consecutive games. I'd be very impressed with Gonzaga if they made it out of this bracket. I believe Michigan will run out of firepower. I don't believe their offense is good enough consistently every night to make it out. And also, Florida as a second round matchup for Michigan, I believe they can knock them out.
Yeah, I think Michigan has a little more firepower than people give them credit for. Jordan Poole, Xavier Simpson, but like you said, they're going to run out of firepower eventually. So I like Florida State, a little upset pick, ACC repping, but I like your Texas Tech pick, Jay.
And now getting into the Final Four, I believe in the championship game, I'm going to stay with Duke. I believe that they actually did play. If they were to play Texas Tech, like I said, I just believe any team Duke comes up against, for the most part, you need to have someone on Zion, or they need to have an off shooting night, i.e. R.J. Barrett playing.
Yeah, R.J. Barrett being selfish. Yeah, I like North Carolina doing the whole thing. It pains me to say it, but they were 1 point away from beating Duke with Zion, and they already beat him twice without him. Frick Zion, he's a great player, but ESPN gives him all this love. Great player, but UNC I think is going to win it all and get their 8th national championship.
7th.
Will they play 7? Yeah, we'll worry about that later. But they get another one.
They're not getting their 8th. They'll never catch Kentucky.
LOL.
My pick, for coming into the championship game out of the South and Midwest regions, I like Kentucky, and I'm gonna tell you why I like Kentucky.
Kentucky over Tennessee.
Yes, I like Kentucky. I believe we'll see a Tennessee-Kentucky rematch in the Final Four, Round 4. What a matchup that would be. The reason I like Kentucky, I believe John Calipari during March gets his guys focused. Okay, we see every year. Not that this has been a better Kentucky team, a little bit more experience than we've seen in the past, but I think every year Cal finds a way. He's a great psychologically. He's great in getting his players in the mindset to play tournament ball. I think Kentucky matches up well against any team in the country in terms of offense, but their defense is what's going to win. Is what's going to get them to the national championship. And I see a Duke versus Kentucky. Think about all the way back to November, first game of the season and the last game of the season.
Yeah. What a great bookend to a great college basketball season. And we still have a lot of basketball left. Jacob Money over everyone, one of the best in the business. Thanks for joining us today on J&J Sports Talk. Jay, any last words?
Kentucky will win the national championship, and they will beat Duke because Tyler Hero is going to show up in a relevant game. P.J. Washington is going to play good, and I believe R.J. Barrett and his selfishness is what's going to lose Duke the national championship. It's going to come down to the wire, but I like my Cats to take down the Nets. All
right, Jay, I love that confidence. It'd be kind of cool if my Clemson Tigers won in football and your Kentucky Wildcats won in basketball. That'd be a quick flex for the podcast. Join us maybe, I don't know, when the next timetable for our next podcast is. It'd be nice to get a little, maybe next Monday.
Absolutely. Lots of tournament to break down. We'll be back with y'all later breaking down this tournament. Y'all, stay safe. Go watch the tournament. And
skip school if you have to.
And if your team loses, don't do anything stupid. If you're going to throw something, throw unbreakable objects.
Yeah,
like
don't
pillows.
throw a pillow at my fan blade and break the fan. But, Jay, love having you on, brother. Great podcast, great fellowship. And I love our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Thank you for joining us on this fine Sunday evening. Enjoy your Sabbath.